On the news tonight, resident doctors declare nationwide protest over unmet demands. Osrc sues Tinubu over failure to publish details of 400 billion naira fuel subsidy savings. And from the forensic, death toll from Typhoon Doksuri rises in northern China.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on the news tonight. My name is Timile Faladi. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NAD, has announced its decision to embark on a daily peaceful protest and picketing of the Federal Ministry of Health, Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, as well as all federal and state tertiary health institutions nationwide from Wednesday. The association said this is to press home its demands, which have been largely neglected by the federal government. A statement by NAD President Dr. Emeka Orji said resident doctors are pained that rather than make genuine and concerted efforts to resolve the challenges that led to the industrial action in spite of repeated ultimatums, Parent Ministry and the federal government have chosen to demonize Nigerian resident doctors after all their sacrifices and patriotism. NAD, however, said it believes that the government still had time to genuinely address the issues at stake before August 9 or leave it with no other option. The Senate has announced that it would increase the number of standing committees. Leader of the Senate, Okpayemi Bamidele, at plenary, raised the point of order on the need to amend the standing orders of the Senate. According to Bamidele, the amendment was to enable the Senate to expand the number of its standing committees. The Senate is expected to name the committees and their chairmen on Monday. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Ganduje, will on Tuesday meet members of the National Working Committee in what will be his first official assignment as leader of the party. The development came barely 2 days after the former governor of Kano State was ratified at the 12th National Executive Committee meeting of the ruling party at Transcorp Hilton in Abuja. Aside from Ganduje, spokesperson for the 9th Senate, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, was also ratified as the new National Secretary of the APC during the last NEC meeting. Reports say the possible agenda for the meeting and top priority would be the appointment of officers for the vacant positions in the NWC. Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project (SIRAP) has filed a lawsuit against President Bola Tinubu over the failure to publish spending details of about 400 billion naira so far saved as a result of the removal of subsidy on petrol. In the suit filed at the Federal High Court in Lagos, SIRAP is seeking an order of magnanimous to direct and compel President Tinubu to publish details of spending of about 400 billion naira saved as a result of the removal of subsidy on petrol on 29 May 2023. SIRAP is also seeking an order of magnanimous to direct and compel President Tinubu to provide details of the plans on how the savings from the removal of subsidy on petrol, including specific projects on which the funds would be spent. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, has described democracy as the best form of government for Nigeria. He also told personnel of the Nigerian Army that the desire of every Nigerian was for the country to enjoy flourishing, uninterrupted constitutional democratic governance. In a statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Wachiku, at the passing out parade and commissioning of taken for Executive Commission Course 1 2023, the COAS declared that the only thing better than democracy for Nigeria in this modern era is more democracy. He emphasized that the desire of every Nigerian is a flourishing, uninterrupted constitutional democratic governance that promotes national values and the interests of every well-meaning Nigerian, irrespective of ethnic or religious affiliation. According to Onyema, The Chief of Staff urged personnel of the Nigerian Army, to be proud champions of the nation's democracy. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) have arrested a fake couple purportedly going for medical treatment in India for ingesting 184 wraps of cocaine weighing 3.322 kilograms with 100 grams of a drug also concealed in the woman's private part. The two suspects were intercepted at the international wing of a Lagos airport while attempting to board an Ethiopian airline flight to India. Though their travel documents show consistency in their names and depict them as a couple, an NDLEA officer, however, decided to subject them to body scan, which confirmed they both ingested drugs. While the travel documents identify the man as Ilonze Kensley Onyebuchi and the lady to be Ilonze Roslyn Noyelam, preliminary investigation revealed that the intended passengers were not a couple but obtained the travel documents in the same surname to beat security checks at the airport. You're still watching OSRC News at 7. We'll take a break now. Do stay with us.
Words are hard to find, but they're still heavy on my mind tonight. The pain is deep inside, but I still want to hide. Happy birthday!
Is this what you really want to do?
Yes, Dad. That's what I've been trying to show you.
Fight for your dreams the advanced way with Glow LTE Advanced. The power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
When it's bright and early, get your breakfast right. You need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Stay in power, you find it all in peak. Every move you make, Peak's got you all the way. And the peak goes on.
Power on every morning with our Peak Protein Breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak. Reach for your peak.
You're welcome back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV. And on YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel, OSRC TV Ondo. In what appears to be an unusual coincidence, Mr. Adeyemi and his wife, Eunice, have, in their 46 years of marriage, been celebrating their birthdays on the same day. Both born on the 4th of August this year, Mrs. Eunice Olufunke Ayeni clocked 70 years and enters the septuagenarian club in grand style. On the other hand, the husband clocked 75 years. OSRC's Sahid Adebisala reports that the celebration was marked with a special Thanksgiving.
A joyous moment for Mrs. Eunice Olufunke Ayeni and family as she enters the septuagenarian club 70 in style. To celebrate this feat, she returns all praises to God Almighty with a special thanksgiving at All Saints Anglican Church, Ijapo Akure, where she was joined by family, friends and well-wishers from far and near. While she celebrates the landmark, her husband, Mr. Ade Ayeni, also clocked 75 years in what can be referred to as a double celebration for the family. Venerable Gideon Awoshoga, in his sermon, tasked humans to be conscious of God and reflect on actions.
Sama, if you are here, you want to live a good life. You are here, you want to be a good example to others. You are here, you want to receive justice. You are here, you want to maintain things that are right. You cannot live by your own flesh, by your own power. The circumstances that around you may be able to solve you, may not allow you. But if Christ is in you, if you are in Christ, the Bible says that you are more than conqueror.
For Mrs. Olufunke Ayeni, the road to 70 years has been laden with the good and the bad, but staying focused and serving God has been the key.
It's grace of God. Not the medicine I'm using, not that my food is special for others. It's the grace of God. What I'm looking for the rest of my life is good health and to be nearer God. The more I'm nearer to God, God will nearer.
Reflecting on his journey and 46 years of marriage, Mr. Ade Ayeni, who appreciated his wife for being a loving partner and joined people to live contented lives.
She's going to be a companion for me, and she'll be very careful in her life, and she's taking care of the children very well. Children are well loved, they love us because she also loves them. She's nurtured them. Most of the time I've been traveling. Take care of yourself, have good food, think well of other people. If you think well of other people, the good will come to you. No hatred for other people, no jealousy, no envy. Then you'll be happy. So I would advise people coming up who are not even yet 70 that please relax, be content. You cannot achieve everything in life.
Friends and family members describe the septuagenarian as a role model who lives for others.
Something of joy is something that is rare. I didn't find it out there. Seeing couple celebrating their birthday same day. I don't know how maybe they ask each other for their birthdays before they start cutting and got married. I don't know, but it's so rare to find couple. It's a special thing.
For me to have come all the way from Ghana, it just shows how precious Mrs. Ayeni is.
A special reception was held in honor of the celebrant where encomiums were poured on the duo. Mr. Ade Ayeni is one-time general manager of the Ondo State Radio Division Corporation, while his wife served in the State Ministry of Health until her retirement. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
The remains of Pastor Oyewole Olatunji have been laid to rest in his hometown, Ikole Iloro Ekiti, in Ekiti West, local government area of Ekiti State. Children, relatives, friends, and well-wishers describe this demise as a big loss in their midst. Omorio Olakunbeji has details.
Late Pastor Oyewole Olatunji was born on 23rd of May 1963 into the family of Mr. and Mrs. Reuben Olatunji of Oluguna of Inuta Quarters, Ikole Loro, Ekiti. He started his elementary education in the community in 1970 and obtained Bachelor of Science in Accountancy from Joseph Ayo Babalola University, Jabu, in 2013, after numerous certificates to his credit. Late Pastor Olatunji bid the world farewell on Tuesday, 11th July 2023 at the age of 60. To wife and children, including Tolulope Olatunji, late Pastor Olatunji was a devout Christian and friend whose ways of life are worthy of emulation.
Lẹ́yìn Kristi, àwọn tó ní bàbá tó tún wà fún wa, fún mi, fún àwọn ọmọ wa. Very caring, very faithful.
My father is one patriarch in a million who has contributed to the universe in cash and kind. He was a man of prayer.
That is just like a book, so we keep reading
about him. We keep learning about him. We keep like making use of his lifestyle for our own lifestyle to become better. So I'm going to miss him a lot.
We missed him a lot because he's a great father to us, a great daddy.
Relatives, church members, and co-residents referred to him as a humble, quiet, selfless, honest, and a custodian of love and kindness, whose absence would be greatly missed.
A man that is very, very diligent. A man that cares for others as a pastor.
His association with people radiates love.
He lived a very brief life, but an accomplished life.
In fact, it's a great blow. So we will really miss him.
Christ Apostolic Church, Oke-Segun Zonal Headquarters, Ipole Loro Ekiti, played host to dignitaries who came from far and near to bid the late financial expert farewell. In his message, officiating minister Timothy Adetoyeshi, who described human existence in life as temporary, wants Christians to examine themselves, live a good life, and make Christ their pillar for a meaningful life. Late Pastor Olatunji was ordained a pastor of Christ Apostolic Church on 28th of June 2002. Omoriola Humbeji, Osrc News.
And now to the foreign scene, the French government says it will firmly support efforts by the West African Regional Group ECOWAS to reinstate Niger's deposed president. West African nations gave coup leaders until today to give up power and return to civilian rule. The region's military chiefs have drawn up a plan for possible military intervention.
As Nigerians, we said to ourselves that if the military decided to intervene in this situation, we would be with them all the same. And we are determined to go wherever they want. And we are not even in favor of negotiations. Niger belongs to us.
This is the terrible mistake that ECOWAS's heads of states made in making a threat and setting a deadline without consulting their military chiefs. So the military chiefs have met, they've looked at the options, and they've placed the intervention at the very last.
The situation that Niger is facing today is actually a small group of officers that had taken into a stage and elected a democratically elected president, President Bazoum. They are also waging a very dire repression against civil society, journalists, free media, as well as different political parties that have been arrested throughout this last week. So this is the situation that the international community today is saying is unacceptable, and that's what ECOWAS has been saying for a week now, with a summit of the heads of state just a week ago that decided with very strong measures on the putschists for them to renounce the coup and hand over power to the democratically elected President Bazoum. So as the international community said it as a whole, because it's not just France that actually supports ECOWAS efforts to go back to constitutional order, it's the US, the EU, the UN with the UN Security Council that expressed itself just a week ago to condemn the attempted coup and support the region in its effort to bring back Niger to the constitutional order. First, we have to support ECOWAS efforts in the mediation effort that they have been, doing for the last few days. And you know that there was a delegation yesterday in Niamey, led by the ex-president, the former president, Nigerian president Abdulsalami Abubakar, who led the delegation in order to go and speak with the putschists and led them to the conclusion that they are actually in an impasse and that they should hand over the power back to the elected president. So this is the time we are in at the moment, and all efforts from the international community should converge in supporting this mediation effort.
The death toll from torrential rains in northern China has risen to 36. Since late July, Typhoon Doksuri has swept through the Philippines before tracking north to Taiwan and China, causing widespread destruction. Persistent rainfall is causing rivers to break their banks, flooding the entire district and damaging roads and bridges.
We received notice that the flood was cresting on the river early on Friday morning, so we began to organise the relocation of affected residents at 4 a.m. All the affected residents have been transferred and resettled now.
We've spared no efforts to support the local emergency rescue and disaster relief efforts. We've restored communication services in 16 towns and 267 villages that were out of contact, repaired 98 kilometers of damaged roads, evacuated nearly 13,000 residents, and sent 500 tons of relief supplies and medicines to them.
And now to sports. Nigeria team has become the second women basketball side after Senegal to have won the FIBA Women's AfroBasket Championship 4 times in a row. The team clinched the crown in 2017, 2019 and 2021 before the most recent feat at the BK Arena. Nigeria started the game on a good footing, winning 19-10 in the first quarter. At halftime, it was 43-31 in the Tigers' favor. But after the break, the Senegalese clawed back into the game with a 62-57 lead after the third quarter. With just a quarter left, coach Rena Wakama's team fought stoutly to overpower the opponents and end up the game with a 10-point win. The Gaffer is the first female coach to win the women's AfroBasket competition weeks after she was appointed to lead the side. Wakama was not the only person that made history with the win. Ami Okokwo also earned the Most Valuable Player prize for her impressive showing in the East African nation. She got 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists.
Ejiofor isn't towering over Sarr, is she? No. Okonkwo gets it off right in the nick of time.
And that's the start that you want to see from Amy Okonkwo, being aggressive, intensity on offense and on defense. You see Amy here taking it to the basket. That's her first basket of the game.
Agoke gets it back and has it taken away by Dillard, who's in midcourt now. Bounce pass beautifully to Sarr, who finishes nicely. And that was 2 days ago. Balogun hits the three-pointer. He made her previous 4. There's Balogun. Oh, big-time shot. Balogun puts it up. Another 3 for her. And they're going to do it relatively comfortably in the end. 84-74. Nigeria, the Tigress, the powerhouse. So, once again, Nigeria at the top of the podium. Well, they're on top of this podium. There are no levels, but you get the point.
On the road to the final of the championship, the Tigers overpowered host Rwanda. They had likewise beaten Mozambique in the quarterfinal. Mali took the bronze medal. And still on sports, Nigeria will host 8 other African basketball teams in the pre-qualifiers of the Olympic Games in Paris after they were selected by the Federation International Basketball Association as the host. The FIBA pre-Olympics will take place in Lagos from August 12 to August 2023. The participants team that will slug it out for a coveted sport to represent the continent at the next Olympic Games are Senegal, Mali, Uganda, Congo, Democratic Republic, Cameroon, Guinea, Tunisia, and host Nigeria. Currently ranked the first team in Africa, the Nigerian men's basketball team, the Tigers, has a high chance to be Africa's representatives at Paris 2024. Speaking ahead of the tournament, the president of the Nigerian Basketball Federation, Amadou Kida, reaffirmed his commitment to a successful and hitch-free tournament with high expectations of great performance from Team Nigeria. England and Nigeria will battle it out on Monday in Brisbane for a place in the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 quarterfinals after finishing top of Group D with 3 wins from 3 England find themselves up against the Super Falcons, who claimed second place in Group B following 2 draws and 1 win against Australia. Despite the Lionesses heading into this fixture as favourites following their 6-1 win over the People's Republic of China, Nigeria holds the better head-to-head record. The last time the two sides faced each other was in April 2004 when Nigeria secured a 3-0 win, and earlier in July 2002, the Falcons beat England 1-0. At the second edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup in 1995, the two teams were drawn in the same group. The Lionesses secured a win over the Super Falcons, beating them 3-2 in Sweden. However, it has now been almost 20 years since the sides trade tackles, and pundits say a lot has changed since that time, both within their respective national team setups and the global women's game. Highlight tomorrow's encounter, Super Falcon midfielder Michelle Alozie esteemed the Nigerian outfit for victory against the English side.
I'm here just for the World Cup, and I mean, I think everything is coming back to just me being Nigerian. I just have the pride, I have the passion, I have the fire, and I just bring that to everything I do on and off the field. And the team just really brings it out, the type of player I am off on the field. Yeah, I mean, I always have faith with us. I think that we've already played some top teams before we came to the World Cup, and we got a few results. And I think that only grew as we came into the group stage. So although we had the quote-unquote group of death, I don't think it really fazed us, and we were just really focused on each game as it came. It's going to be a hard game. We've had hard games this whole entire time, starting with Canada, and so we expect nothing less. It's obviously a knockout round, so it really is winner takes all. So we're ready to put up a battle. We're ready to expect a battle from them, and just give them everything that we have.
Meanwhile, Super Falcons Deborah Abiodun will compete a 3-match ban against Lionesses, just as a trio of Tosin Demay, Michelle Alozie, and Azizat Oshoala are also unbroken away from suspension. Whoever emerges victorious from this fixture will go on to face the winner of Colombia versus Jamaica in the FIFA Women's World Cup quarterfinals on Saturday. And before we go tonight, let's take another look at the major stories. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, has announced its decision to embark on a daily peaceful protest and picketing of the Federal Ministry of Health, Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation, as well as all federal and state tertiary health institutions nationwide, from Wednesday to press home its demand. Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project (SIRAP) has filed a lawsuit against President Bola Tinubu over the failure to publish spending details of about 400 billion naira so far saved as a result of the removal of subsidy on petrol. And finally, from the foreign scene, we told you that death toll from Typhoon Doksuri has increased in northern China as over 1 million people are being evacuated. And that's the news. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.